On the 2nd of July 2018, the body of 6-year-old Alesha MacPhail was found dumped in a wooded area within the grounds of a former hotel in the Isle of Bute in Scotland. Alesha's body was naked. To this day, Aaron Campbell, a former aspiring YouTuber who was just 16 when he abducted, raped and murdered Alesha, has shown no remorse whatsoever for his actions. Now viewer, if I've got you hooked on the story so far, do subscribe, give the video a like, drop a comment when you're ready and donate. Hit the thanks button below, I'll appreciate you. Aaron Campbell was born on the 7th of May 2002 in Shrewsbury, Shropshire. The decision taken by Campbell's parents when Campbell was 4 or 5 to move to Bute sprang from a single key motivation. They wanted their 2 children, which includes Aaron and his younger sister, to grow up somewhere safe. In an additional irony, many of the numerous arguments that Aaron had with his mother as he grew up came from her drinking. His mother was an alcoholic. People who kill are often people who, as children, frequently got away with violence against others. Campbell appears to have got away with nearly drowning a girl by holding her head underwater when he was 6 or 7, and kicking another girl viciously and repeatedly when he was 10. If, as a child, Campbell also harmed cats, then this may offer a greater indication of his dislike, if any, for women and girls. Many men who kill women have a history of harming cats, since, to those individuals, cats represent girls and women. I learned this from media psychologist Emma Kenny. As a total non-expert myself though, I am in no position to say whether Campbell's attacks on 2 girls as a child, coupled with his ugly relationship with his mother, served in any way to necessarily prefigure his sheer evil against any 6-year-old girls. When Campbell began self-harming, which may have been a manifestation of the depression that he suffered for a period, his mother was possibly too drunk to notice. Where Campbell's father was at this point, and what support, if any, he offered his son, I can't say. Despite his psychological issues, at Rothsay Academy, Campbell's secondary school, Campbell had lots of friends. He often went out drinking with them, whether at parties or elsewhere, his many friends enjoying his dark sense of humour. Campbell was a highly fit and active teenager. A keen gamer, Campbell posted videos to his YouTube channel showing him doing things like trampolining, alongside videos in which he duly played video games. Given Campbell's brand of humour, his friends may have taken it as a joke when, at 15, Campbell told them that he was considering doing something excessive, like rape. They may have reacted in the same way when, again at 15, Campbell said that he might kill one day for the lifetime experience. Neither comment was a joke, as we now know. But his savagery against Alesha was not, in fact, the first proof of this. Sometime after making those 2 comments, Campbell was made to undergo a rehabilitation programme after being caught starting fires. When, after Alesha's murder was publicised, Campbell's mother handed her CCTV footage showing the area outside her home to the police, she believed she was helping her son. The footage showed Campbell leaving and entering the house in the small hours of the 2nd of July 2018. However, having since quizzed her son over where he'd actually gone, his mother, Janet, was convinced of his innocence. In taking her CCTV footage to the police, she expected them to find the same. When, on the 4th of July 2018, Campbell was arrested for the murder, he answered no comment to every question. In the course of his trial, which began on the 11th of February 2019, having pleaded not guilty to Alesha's abduction, rape and murder, Campbell logged a so-called special defence of incrimination. Campbell knew Alesha's father, Robert MacPhail, as well as Robert's girlfriend, Tony McLaughlin. According to Campbell, on the night of the murder, he and Tony had had sex in a garage. At some point afterwards, Tony had murdered Alesha and then planted Campbell's semen at the crime scene using the condom from her earlier sexual liaison with Campbell. Alesha's father thoroughly doted on his daughter, you see, and Tony was sick of playing second fiddle to her. On the night of the 1st of July 2018, Campbell had a house party in his large home with around 15 of his friends. The party ended at midnight, and a friend later recalled that Campbell seemed worryingly depressed. A short time later, Campbell sent messages round asking if anyone could sell him some cannabis. Having formally sold Campbell some cannabis, Alesha's father Robert and his girlfriend Tony both received Campbell's message. After getting no response, Campbell armed himself with a kitchen knife and walked the very short distance to the MacPhail property. On glimpsing Alesha sleeping in her room, which he did after gaining entry to the home via the unlocked front door, he instantly abandoned his plan to steal cannabis from the property. Instead, he answered the dark urges that the sight of this little girl sleeping awakened in him. As he later so bluntly put it, "All I could think about was killing her once I saw her." Campbell lifted Alesha out of bed, exited the property and walked with her along the ocean shore. When he found Alesha waking up and asking him who he was, he answered that he was a friend of her father's and that he was taking her home. Once he got Alesha to the grounds of the abandoned hotel, he raped her and murdered her. I'm under the impression that Campbell raped Alesha both before and after killing her. He stated at some point, I believe, that it annoyed him to find that Alesha was actually still alive when he started raping her. Alesha's autopsy unearthed 117 injuries to Alesha's body. The injuries to her neck and face indicated that she'd been violently gripped. The injuries to her nose and mouth indicated that she'd been smothered. Her genitalia, meanwhile, sustained catastrophic injuries. The pathologist determined her cause of death to be significant forceful pressure to her neck and face. After finishing with Alesha, Campbell casually threw his clothes into the sea, went home for a shower, then returned to the murder scene to retrieve his phone. Between being found guilty by a unanimous verdict and returning to court some days later for his sentencing, Campbell confessed to Alesha's abduction and murder. He also declared that he was quite satisfied with the murder and that he had had to try very hard not to laugh during the trial. When passing sentence, the judge referenced these remarks of Campbell's and called Campbell a cold, calculating, remorseless and dangerous individual, completely lacking in victim empathy.
I have never before seen a police officer almost break down in the witness box, so affected was he by the sight. The contrast between them and you could not be more vivid. Your attitude was clearly demonstrated by the evidence that you posted an image of yourself in a mirror while making a joke that you had found where the murderer was hiding. The arrogance and callousness of that is breathtaking. Despite the overwhelming evidence against you, you did not plead guilty but elected to go to trial. That was your right, and I do not increase your sentence because of it. However, it is symptomatic of your staggering lack of remorse. Not once during the trial did I detect a flicker of emotion from you, and that was also the experience of the professionals who interviewed you for the purposes of the reports, to which I will turn shortly. Each of these reports contains clear admissions by you of your guilt. Not only that, and this is a terrible thing to say of one so young, but they paint a clear picture of a cold, callous, calculating, remorseless and dangerous individual.
On appeal, Campbell had his 27-year prison sentence reduced to 24. In late 2024, at the age of 22, he was transferred to an adult prison to serve the remainder of his sentence. And we all wish him absolute hell. If this video has gripped you, I recommend you to watch this one next. I'll meet you there.